Hi everybody, welcome back. We have been not doing videos for a couple of weeks now. Just had like some technical difficulties following Hurricane Helene. I am in North Carolina. I'm in Western North Carolina at that. So everyone has heard on the news how the hurricane really impacted Western rural North Carolina, and that's where I am at. My earrings are upside down. Okay. But thankfully, I'm okay. My family's okay. Um, so many other people got it a lot worse. I was out of power for 3 to 5 days. It all kind of runs together at some point. And I have a tree down in my backyard. It did not fall on anything important at all. I mean, it didn't really fall on anything at all. Just laid down in the yard, very pretty like. And I lost my desktop PC to a power surge. Thankfully, I have had a different desktop donated to me, so I'm good. I had a laptop anyway, but I didn't have Wi-Fi, obviously, and there was no cell service for the same amount of time as we didn't have power. Just the towers, I guess, the wind kicked out a lot of the towers and stuff. But my family's okay. My mom's okay. She was out of power for a while, and internet and stuff like that. But her Etsy shop's back up and running now. My aunt probably got hit the worst. Well, my father is also in Old Fort, North Carolina, which is one of the cities just east and down the mountain from Asheville, which I know a lot of people have heard about. But they got hit pretty hard with flooding. There's a lot of like low-lying areas and creeks and stuff like that. As far as I know, there's very little property damage for my aunt, but she was out of power for over a week. That's very difficult for her. There are children in the home. There are people who are not physically well in the home there. So I know that really affected them. Me and Beans were fine. Yeah, hey bud. He's sitting in his window. He's fine. Oh, is he gonna come see me? You gonna come see me? You don't like the camera usually. But everybody's okay. Everybody came through it. No injuries to the best of my knowledge. No super terrible property damage. There were a lot of trees down on my dad's property. And of course the power was out for a while. They're in a fairly remote area of that county. Both of them. But all in all, everything turned out okay. We were just knocked out of power for a while, knocked out of internet for a while. So I had other things to do. I couldn't really make videos. Well, we're not live streaming right now, but I couldn't make videos. But we're doing it now. And I'm so happy, so happy, so happy. Got a few things we're going to do today. One, I'm going to do a proof of concept on these are called embroidery hoops, and I'll show you why in a minute. And I have this massive bag of mismatched / broken jewelry that has been given to me. And I am just thrilled to pieces to see some of the stuff in here. Oh my goodness. Okay. But let's start with the embroidery hoops. These are embroidery hoops. And they are zip tied together. One thing that I didn't zip tie together. They came packaged like this. Just for a little tutorial for you guys, a little handy tip or trick or hack, as they call it, as the kids call it these days. Scissors don't always cut through zip ties because they're just a stronger plastic. They're meant to be. So I have found that pet nail trimmers, these are cat nail clippers. And you can get these at the dollar store. You get these for $1 at Dollar Tree. These of course are Beans's, but I'm just going to borrow them for a second. But because you can hook, well, I say it's really easy and then I fail miserably. So you just kind of like hook it because it's got that little round thing. You hook it right there underneath, pops right off. Because these are nail trimmers. They're meant to cut something stronger than plastic. And I found that out because I groomed cats and dogs for 12 years. And, you know, you just kind of walking around somewhere and you got a zip tie suddenly. You're not going to use a pair of $200 scissors on a zip tie, because those scissors are meant for fur. And they're $200 for a pair of scissors. You will ruin your a really good investment. You will ruin trying to cut anything other than hair with that. So you're walking around, you need to get a zip tie off of something because it's packaged that way, or your bundle of towels from your laundry service comes, and they're not really zip tied together, but it's a strap, you know, a plastic strap. But you do have a pair of dog nail trimmers in your pocket. And you're like, hey, these are a lot cheaper, for one thing. Secondly, they are tough as nails. They're tough as nails. So I'm probably not going to hurt my dog nail trimmers like I would hurt a pair of scissors. And this is just what's in my pocket. So you pop them, and it's like, oh, that's really easy. So just kind of found that out. A little bit of life experience for you. All right. Anyway, they're apart now. This is an embroidery hoop. And so it's actually made of 2 circles of wood or any other material. I have some plastic ones or whatever as well, just for personal stitching projects. These are wood, more traditionally. These are a little bit less expensive, more traditionally. And the cool thing about these is, so it's 2 pieces of wood. There's this little clamp here, and this is a screw. So as you loosen the screw there, the outer circle is gets a little bit bigger and out slides that. So now you have 2 hoops. And why do you want to do that? Well, to embroider on something, you're stitching through a piece of fabric. That's a very, very fine piece of fabric that I don't really want to stretch out. Oh, I know what I've got. So you've got fabric, right? Well, if you're just sewing through it or stitching through it to make a pattern or make a picture of embroidery thread, which is special, it'll bind it up and pull it together, and it'll just ruin it. So, oh wow, this is really, really stiff. It's a brand new piece of cross stitch fabric. Of course it's stiff. Okay. Let's unstiffen it a little bit. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's wrinkled, because what we're going to do, so what you do is you lay it across the smaller hoop, the non-adjustable hoop, and you put your, usually I want to open it a bit wider while I'm putting cloth in. Okay, so you lay your fabric across on top of, some people do it differently, but I'll show you in a second. Lay it there, you stretch your other hoop over both, right? And then you'll tighten the screw again. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not going to keep the fabric in there, right? And so this setup, and some people prefer to stitch from under like this, but most people stitch like this. And so what this does is it holds tension here, so you can do your stitching and stuff like that without making the fabric draw together like that, you know. So, and then the really, really cool thing about it is once you're done, you can finish the back of it all together like that. And the hoop, I mean, this makes for a very perfect hanging thing for your wall if you wanted to display it like that. Right? So you just kind of like pull, like you cut the fabric a little shorter and you pull it all behind the hoop. And that's why you want to stitch on this side, the front, instead of the back, because if you're going to display it like this, because you don't have to like take it out of the hoop and rearrange it and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just there, you know. Sorry, again, the focus is not great today. But and you just hang this directly on a wall. So I am going to be doing some embroidery using, I call it embroidery. It's not really embroidery. It would be more akin to, beading, I guess, or beaded embroidery on hoops like this, different sizes, using some of this broken, mismatched jewelry as the, I'll worry about that in a little while, that's fine. Leave it alone, beans. You know, as using the beads and stuff to, you know, make patterns and pictures and stuff on cloth. It would be more of a mixed media piece, I suppose, if you were going to go with like art terms. But anyway, so that's all well and good. That's great. You know, I would probably sell them if I can. I have some shadow box style frames that I can mount that stuff in, but for other pieces I want to just sell them directly in the embroidery hoops, so people can just like put it on a little nail or a hook or whatever, just, you know, just like that. But these embroidery hoops are they're wood. They're just a very plain wood. So we're going to play with a little concept today. I don't want to color this. This is fine. It's hidden. It's the immovable or unadjustable ring. It's hidden. No one's going to see that. I don't care about this. This is your frame. It's, you know, and so I found a while back that permanent marker, i.e. Sharpies, and specifically Sharpies, color wood very nicely, and kind of like a stain almost. Not like a full-on paint, but a nice stain. And I have a huge selection of markers and Sharpies and stuff like that. We'll start with a dark brown because we're just going to be like almost staining this wood to a dark brown. And then we'll do another one. I've got a ton of these things. And something a bit more fun. I don't think I would ever embroider anything that would go with a pink frame. But this is just for fun, right? So we're going to do 2 of those real quick. And we're just going to use, like I said, it's just basic, everyday Sharpie. And so the way this is that the outside and these ridges we're going to quickly, and the great thing about, and I want to actually close the, well, we're going to go ahead and do the inside of this real quick. Like this little edge in here. Basically anything that I am sure will show once the fabric is done and in place. And I am left-handed, so this will be back, well, I mean, it looks like I'm right-handed because of the way that these screens work. So, if you look right here, right? If you look right there, you see that the ink just kind of soaks into the wood. And the great thing about Sharpies, or markers in general, is you have a ton, now that that's colored on the inside there, you have a ton of control. It's not going to, you're not going to, I mean, you can slip up with a Sharpie, obviously. I mean, you know, anything you can slip up with, because manual dexterity is a thing, and I don't really have it. But it's not the same as a paintbrush. So again, we're just kind of coloring around the metal pieces here, and the edge of the wood there. See, I slipped up there and got inside. But anyway, so it's not like a paintbrush. Paintbrushes are finicky. I love them, but they are finicky. And, much more, quote-unquote, disaster prone. So, with the Sharpie, you have more control. The chisel tip, or not the chisel tip, the fine tip, or the marker tip, is not going to slip or bend or fold in a way that might go out of... Oh, that is very nice. Let me finish this little section real quick and I'll show you. It's not going to bend or fold or otherwise just kind of do something unpredictable. It's solid. It's not going to move on you. Okay, so if you look here, I have Sharpied this. And you can still see the wood grain, but it's just brought that out, right? And the really, really, really great thing about permanent marker is it's permanent. It doesn't come off. It doesn't stain. It doesn't chip. It doesn't any of that. Now, most of the time it won't, after being dry, it won't bleed onto fabric. Unless someone were to go and get like rubbing alcohol or some other solvent that is known to remove Sharpie, and rubbing alcohol will do that. So if ever you get permanent marker on yourself or something that you don't want it on, get you some hand sanitizer, some alcohol-based hand sanitizer, squirt it on there, let it sit for just a second, and then rub it off. And on non-porous materials, they'll take it right off most of the time. Porous materials will take some more scrubbing. But rubbing alcohol will is a solvent for permanent marker. So another option, if you have it, other than like your basic, and this is a budget hack. Sharpies are inexpensive. Any permanent marker. I'll even, rather than doing, I might even do 3 of these today and show you. I have other brands of permanent marker. Any permanent marker will do this. Any marker will do this. You could do this with a Crayola water-based marker. Now, the thing about that is water is a lot easier to suddenly happen upon your art project. And water, of course, is how you clean water-based markers. So it will come off. It will bleed if it gets wet. This is better because it's not water-based. It's not going to necessarily come off with water. I want to test that just to be 1000% sure that I'm not lying to you. I'll have to get some. I've got some water. I've got a gallon of water over here that I use in the ultrasonic cleaner. But anyway, so this is just kind of a proof of concept, testing this out, making sure I'm not crazy, which, I am, but making sure I'm correct in my assumptions. You may test that assumption at your leisure, which is basically fancy talk for FAFO. Now, okay, coffee. It's iced coffee. We are almost done. That's another good thing about this, is it's a quick little project to, and it brings out a real beauty, and it just kind of gives that finished touch to a piece. And now we're over here on the metal. I'm already like mostly through it. Just while I've been talking to you guys. Yeah, so, I guess the thing that's on everybody's mind right now is the hurricane. Milton came through Florida. I do have some family in Florida, and I have not heard from them. They're not, it's kind of an estranged family situation. I do hope for the best for them, but I haven't heard from them, and I probably won't. They won't inform me, I'm sure. They might inform me if something terrible had happened. So we're going to just sit back, hope for the best. They weren't in the exact path of Hurricane Milton. They were north of where that went through, and I hope they're okay. I worry about them, even though we don't speak. We're not really. We haven't really spoken in a while, but I do hope for the best for them, and worry about them. I worry about them anyway because they're family. Yeah, so already that's done. And so basically you go from, oh, God, I'll unscrew this now. Unscrew it. Yeah, and you can just finger tighten things. You don't, I mean, it's got a place for a screwdriver if you really wanted to, you know, crank down on it. But I don't suggest it because then you can't, excuse me. So, because if you really crank down on it, you can't readjust your cloth on it, and you want to be able to readjust your cloth while you're working, because it will, the tension will kind of like pushing on that cloth and with the threads and stuff will, you know, cause things to kind of move around a bit, and you want to maintain tension. And I like, when I'm working on embroidery, I like for it to be tight as a drum in the hoop. It's just a some people don't use hoops, and I applaud them. They have enough control over their stitch tension that they don't use hoops, and so they don't draw their cloth up and stuff. So you start with this, right? And it's fine, and for most projects, this is what you want. But this is what you end up with. And again, you don't have to do this color or the inner ring here because it's not going to show. Right? So we'll put them side by side, and you can see the difference there. And I've got my hands all over this, and it did come off a little bit there. I don't know if that's from me doing that or from where I was coloring and it was still wet and it rubbed off. But we will test it. This is just a gallon of water. Oh, yeah. And see, Morgan is prepared today. Kind of. But, yeah. So a little bit of water on a paper towel. Put that down. Okay, yeah, wet. There is a very minimal amount of that coming off, but maybe by doing a little wipey wipe with a wet paper towel, we're getting the excess off and preventing further bleeding. Yeah, but I mean, as dark as that is, and to take a white paper towel, a wet one, and get just that tiniest smudge of ink off of it, that's really, really good. And so, as long as the piece is kept dry and, you know, whatever, it shouldn't even do that much. That is a cheap, fast, very classy. And Sharpies or markers come in all these colors. All the colors of the rainbow, plus some not even thought of by the man upstairs, right? So, you know, we're going to take a look at a bright, colorful one here in a second. But anyway, so yeah, we'll take a look at this one real quick. I won't do a full hoop on it. I just want to check it out, see what it looks like to do a bright, colorful one. And then we'll test a different brand. We'll do orange for Halloween. We'll test a different brand. This is Bic. These two are Sharpies. They're your more... and then you guys can decide for yourselves as you go. Do I like this little idea? And how else would I implement it? In whatever. Just knowing that, you know, this wood is unfinished, by the way. There's no varnish on it. So the ink really, really soaks into the wood very well, into the wood grain. Brings that out and shows it off. I'm actually really liking this bright color. This pink. I'm not even that much of a pink girly. I've become that. I've become one over the years. When I was in high school, you could not get me to touch pink. I just absolutely refused. I was a different girl. I was different. I wore black and silver and not much else, and the colors in my closet did not exist, kind of stuff, you know. Oh, blue. I wore blue. And red. Color of blood. Okay, so again, start out with something like this, and you go to something like this, right? Get in there. Focus. Don't focus on me, focus on that. And you can see where it soaks into that wood grain, leaves you the look of it, not like a painted wood, but just that very nice stain. I'll finish this up later, because I might end up using these. Even the bright pink one. You never know. So there's that. Proof of concept, again. And then let's try a different brand. Let's try, these are Bic. As you can see, the tip is still very fine tip there. Perfect for, I'm going to loosen this up. Take the hoop out. Yeah, there you go. So a pack of, looks like 12 of these embroidery hoops, was, you know, about 14 bucks on, you can get them, you can get them at the big box retailer of your choice. I got these at the one that ships in 2 days if you subscribe to their specific stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I try to avoid brand names. I'm not sponsored by Sharpie. I wish I was. Oh God, could I get Sharpie markers? I want to try their acrylic markers, the paint pens. I see them advertised, and I just haven't bit the bullet and shelled out for them. I've got other things to spend my money on, and no projects that would require them, so they have remained unpurchased as of yet. Yeah, this is working really nicely too. I didn't expect it not to. I just wanted to show you guys, because I've been saying the brand name of one, and it's actually, you know, usually it's not, of course, there are some really expensive markers out there that are alcohol based and therefore permanent. And no one would say use them on a project like this necessarily, because they're art markers. They're meant for illustrators and professionals like that. So anyway, orange on a Bic. Perfectly fine. Works just fine now that it's dry. There is a little more, there's still just the tiniest amount of rub off, but again, if you wiped it with a damp cloth before doing your project, it would probably be fine. My advice would be, just to be 1,000% sure, is to work your piece on a unstained hoop, because your hands are going to be all over this hoop, and the oils from your hands and the friction from your hands might cause this to transfer. And of course your hands are then on the cloth. It might transfer onto the cloth. If you're working with a dark fabric, it's not going to matter because the transfer is going to be so minimal. But if you're working with white, you definitely want to be really careful. So maybe work your piece on an unfinished or unstained hoop, and then after you're done working, transfer it into a stained hoop of whatever, however you want to do it, and then finish that, like, fold all that back, stitch it back to where it, we're not going to get into it, but finish the back of it then after you've transferred it to your stained hoop. That's a really pretty orange. I'm not even a fan of the color orange, but that's really pretty. But anyway, we have proven thrice over that this is a valid method. It's great. With your natural color, your bright color, and a bright color of a different brand. And a really cool thing is that, again, markers come in all the colors. You've got pastels, you've got naturals, you've got brights, you've got black. A black stain on one of these would look amazing with like a gray cloth or a brightly colored cloth. Stain your frame or your hoop black, and it'll be simple, elegant, and it's a stain, it's not a paint. And while paint is great, and some people would prefer the look of paint chips, paint rubs off, paint, especially acrylics. You have to paint and then varnish. Stain it. You can varnish it if you want to be 1,000% sure that's not going to transfer. So you can varnish that if you wanted to. I'm not going to. It's perfectly fine. It's a permanent marker. I am confident this will be fine, as long as people don't dunk the piece in like rubbing alcohol, right? Okay, so awesome. We are 30 minutes in, and I have accomplished an experiment, but also tutorialized a little bit, so that's good too. That's good for you guys. Let's look into this bag of goodies. This was donated to me a couple of weeks ago by family. There's some neat stuff in here. It is mismatched or broken, or otherwise they just didn't want it. Mostly broken. Necklace. I love necklaces. I was talking to Mom yesterday. Necklaces are great because, especially when you're doing things like making bookmarks, okay? Because each of these pieces here is already on its own little loop, right? And so all I've got to do is attach it to my bookmark using a jump ring, one of those little rings that you kind of, and it's ready to go. It's perfect. And so I love necklaces like this where everything is on its own little, these are called eye rings or eye pins, right? Because it's like an eye of a needle. I don't have to get an eye pin, put it through a bead, bend the other end. I don't have to do any of that. I love it. And you have, this, if I was really, really, really industrious, could make 12 to 15 bookmarks or some, but these pieces are a little too large for a bookmark. But, I could make probably 10 bookmarks out of that one necklace. And then you have pieces like this. That's really, really pretty. Now, it is on, this little piece here that connects the charm to the cord. This is called a bail. B-A-I-L. Bail. Unfortunately, the shape of this particular one is not useful on a bookmark. It is useful as a necklace. And this is actually really nice. A braided leather cord. Someone's going through some real trouble here. And I'm just going to cut it off. But anyway, that's a good idea. That right there. It holds that charm in place so it doesn't slide around and all that mess. But anyway, I will have to destroy the bail to get to that loopy bit and then put it on a bookmark. But that is a really pretty little heart. Filigree, little rhinestone. Here's a bracelet, beaded bracelet. I love that bead. Look at that. Again, now this is strung on one piece of jewelry wire as your bracelet. Honestly, it's intact. That will, anyway, but so I would have to then put these on my own eye hooks or you know, whatever, eye pins. Oh, it's a nice necklace. Oh, it's a very specific company. It's on the, oh, right there. Yeah, right there. I really like these pieces. I wish they would sell, but the company, and this is actually I'm covering the brand. Gosh, that's really nice. I might. We're gonna put that aside. Yeah, we're gonna put that aside. Here's a little charm bracelet, very similar to the bracelet. So you know, if you're a horse girl, there's that. It has a little cross with a heart, might be something you're into, and a little pink gemstone. The construction of this bracelet is very similar to the one I'm wearing. Bat for spooky season, my little raven, my Edgar Allan Poe shirt, wearing spooky season. You know, this just kind of like comes up over the hand, and it's so funny because my hands are small, my wrists are large. So I really like these, that they kind of like stay in place. If they come over my hand and fit, and also fit my wrist, they often fall off my hand. It's just because, but anyway, a little charm looks like a key. It's a little large for a bookmark. Maybe if I put it on, I don't know, it's a little too large for a bookmark. I don't like anything bigger than 1 inch in diameter for a bookmark. I feel like that's overkill. Very pretty earring there with some dangly bits, some little ribbon roses on the end of that. That would be a very pretty earring right there, you know. I don't see, oh yeah, and they are, oh, we have a matching pair. Oh yeah, we've got a matching pair, but one of them is missing its back. Like that. So if I would, I'm not really into gold tone. What I would then do, if I wanted to repair these and sell them as a pair of earrings, or wear them as a pair of earrings, right, which they are very cute, is I would actually remove this one from whatever and just put an ear hook, which ear hook is the little hook that goes through. And just put these on a similar toned ear hook. You know, you lose the stud with the gem, but you keep that really decorative. I love that. It's gold tone. I don't wear gold tone jewelry, but that is very, very cute. And it will, and again, each of these, I mean, basically, I probably wouldn't put more than one of these ribbon flowers. Well, I don't know. I might. Be convinced to put more than one of these ribbon flowers on a keychain, so you can get up to 3 keychains out of each earring, right? Probably more, because I don't know that I would usually pair them exactly with the same beads that are on the earrings already. So you're getting at least 3 bookmarks per earring. Oh, it's very nice. Ooh, I like that chain. Alright, I got some more necklaces. I'm not going to go through the whole bag because It's a huge bag. I mean, we're talking about a gallon zipper bag, gallon Ziploc type bag. Just a basic everyday chain. You can always use more chain. This is one that if it's not terribly tangled, yeah, this is kind of a gold tone, a gold slash silver tone, but it's not that bright gold. Yeah, we're keeping that. I like it. Little starfish charm. He is plastic, but he's very, very cute. He probably came off of an earring. You know, earring. I love that. Oh my gosh, he's very, very cute. So even though he's plastic, and I tell everybody, don't do plastic. Plastic's cheap. When they're that cute, you have to, you know, use them, do them, work with them. Very pretty necklace here. Let's see. So it's missing, looks like bamboo. Doesn't it look like bamboo? Yeah. The charm on it, very, very nice. But it is missing one of these sections, as you can see, because I hold it up even with itself. It's missing one of these sections, and the other side to this with the clasp. That's a shame, because that's a nice necklace. It's enamel. Like, okay, so you see, turn it towards the sunlight here. The enamel, that's melted glass or a glass type paint in there. So it's enameled. There's a little, it's not really a stone, or it's more of a metal stud there. I love that. The bamboo, the flowers, I love this piece. It's a real shame that it's broken. And it's branded. This is a Chico's. See? This is a Chico's pendant necklace. So, if we happen across the other piece in here, we'll put it back together and resell it as a branded piece of jewelry. And if it doesn't sell by the end of the year, we'll put it in my jewelry box. A very nice little pin, brooch pin, a angel singing. It looks like it's got a hymnal in its hands. It's a nice little piece. It's not missing any stones. No brand on it, but angels are nice. Angels, everybody needs a guardian angel, you know. I was going to say it's bent, but I think that's intentional. The halo bends a little bit out over the head, but I'm pretty sure that's intentional. Because it's a strongly constructed piece of... I like that. That's going to be resale. A very nice earring there with the seed beads on it. No branding. Just a nice earring. Again, it's kind of like, it's almost a gold tone. It's like a little bit more gold than the silver stuff I usually wear. But just kind of like sit down, and this is unfortunate. It looks like it was a pin, but the pin part is missing. I would require, like, if I had the ability to, it's like I had the material to repair it, it would require soldering, and I don't have that skill yet, but I do love this. This would be something that could be sewn or embroidered, or, you know, stitched onto a piece of cloth as part of a collage or piece of art. Just looking at a brand here. I don't see it. Another necklace. It's a little too large for a little too large for a bookmark, but it's just nice. It's still on the backing. I mean, it was $5 when it was purchased new. It is a Walmart specific. So you got that for $5 from Walmart. You know, it's not something that I can resell. Chain is always nice, particularly you know, when it's unusual like that. The beads, I can take the beads off of the wires there and reuse them. You know, you can break it down and make something else out of that. I'm not as excited about it as some of the other things. Here's another, this looks like it's a, so it's got its own built-in bail for a necklace, but it also, at one point, was able to be a pin, like a little brooch pin, but the pin backing is broken off. So you could still use it as a necklace if you wanted to. It's missing a stone. That's unfortunate because I was missing a couple of stones. It's very, very pretty though. I'm sure when this was brand new, it was just an amazing little piece. I love, if I was the type to actually break things out of jewelry, and I'm not saying I'm not the type, give me a minute to figure out how to do it. These are glued in though too, the little cabochon style. Never say never, you know. Again, that's a skill that I don't have yet. So, oh, that's cool. A little compass right there. Perfect for a bookmark. Perfectly sized, round, flat. Yeah, perfect. Here's another piece. A little too big for a bookmark, but it'll go nicely on a piece of on an embroidery piece. It does have some of these little loops. I would have to clip and file, but that's okay. That's okay. Again, that's something that I can and would do. Got a tangle of things. Oh, this is so cute. Little bear. Little bear. I like him a lot. He's on an ear. He's on. Oh, this looks like a cuff. Like, you see, there's no piercing to it. So he would go on like that. You know. Very, very cool. Or you can put him way up high. It's a little funny looking up high. So I don't know. But you know, again, proof of concept. He works up there. Not my favorite placement for one. You know, if you were really brave, and I'm snotty, so I'm not gonna do this. You know, a little big for a nose hoop, but or septum placement. But you know, he's very, very cute. Some girls I have seen larger hoops in the nose, not usually in the septum, but in the actual like side here. I have seen larger hoops. Typically that is for women of Eastern descent, to India, Pakistan, you know, to wear the large gold hoops in the nose for celebratory purposes during weddings or holidays and that kind of thing. It's very pretty. It's not something that I would do because it's not my culture to wear them like that. But it's very, very pretty on them. And the gold against their darker skin is very, very pretty. This is a bracelet. It's on a stretchy nylon cord. It would be difficult to make these into a bookmark. The branding is called True, so it is branded. I need to research that, see if it's worth. Oh, that's a very cute earring. I love, my mother will attest to this. earrings. I always wore big earrings that dangled really far. Or hoops that were just massive. That was something I wore a lot as a younger person. And before I got my ears re-pierced and they had grown up, so that's a little too short for me. But again, this will make a very nice bookmark. It's perfect. It's already put together and ready to go. You just take it off of the ear hook. Let's tell you guys what an ear hook is. Take it off the ear hook and put it right on a bookmark. So yeah, there are so many goodies. And I've just gone through, not even a quarter of what's in here. So we'll continue to work our way through this bag in future videos because we're at almost an hour for recording. So we'll continue more of this as we go, as we do more videos. Hopefully we'll be back to a once-a-week video schedule. I might push the posting of the videos towards later in the week. Maybe Thursday, Friday. Since we're not doing the live streams right now, that might be the good thing to do. Is just, do the videos a little later in the week. Instead of, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do them like Thursday, Friday. Gives me time to edit and get them posted and stuff like that. Gives me a few extra days to actually record as well. Maybe we'll get better videos out of it. Who knows? Yeah, so one special request for anybody watching, if you are able, only if you are able, never ever, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you don't have it, if you can't, you can't. But if you are able, reach out to one of the very, very many charities, the one of your choice, if it's faith-based, if it's not faith-based, if it's governmental, one of the charities that is helping people recovering from Hurricane Helene in Western North Carolina, in Georgia, in South Carolina, anybody, anything, please reach out and see what you can do. If you can't give money, if you can't give supplies, maybe you can give time. If you can't do that, that's okay too. If you can't, you can't. Again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. But there are thousands of people who need help. I'm okay. I'm so grateful to be okay. But please, if you can. And also, send good vibes. Pray if that's what you do. That's also an option. That helps. It does. I wholeheartedly believe that helps. But if you can give. If you can't, you can't. We got hit hard. I didn't, but we as a community got hit hard. Western North Carolina got hit really hard. Everyone's heard about Asheville. Everyone's heard about Asheville. So don't forget that there are places in Western North Carolina that are not Asheville. Asheville's great. Asheville's getting a lot of media coverage. So Asheville's getting a lot of help from large companies, from big corporations. You forget about towns like Old Fort, Rutherfordton, Ralston. You forget about Forest City, North Carolina. No one knows these places. Burnsville, Chimney Rock. Everyone's seen the video from Chimney Rock, how that town practically doesn't exist anymore. It got washed off the map, literally. So don't forget about the smaller communities. If you've heard of someone that is working on helping the smaller communities, they need the help now. The bigger communities, Asheville, I don't know anyone's outside of North Carolina. A Black Mountain is a town that no one has heard about, but it's right 2 minutes, it's like 10 minutes from Asheville, and it's not getting the same media coverage as Asheville. And these are people who didn't have anything before the storm, and now they've got less than that. So keep them in your thoughts. Keep them in your ideas of where to send supplies, where to send money. Please, just look out for people. Look out for your fellow man. But yeah, if you're able, please send help, send money, send supplies. If you can't, it never hurts to like think a kind thought, put that out into the universe. Pray if that's your proclivity. Because we need it. We need it. Thank you for watching. Take care of each other. Take care of your fellow man. And we'll see you next week. Okay? Bye.